Hi, this is Cathy English from Revelstoke Museum and Archives with another segment of our Downtown Heritage Walking Tour. Today we're going to talk about our very own building, Revelstoke Museum and Archives. The museum has been in this building since 1974, but I'll talk about how this building came to be and the postal service in Revelstoke. In the very early days of railway construction, the postmarks coming into this area were simply marked end of track. The post office was actually moving with railway construction, so some of the first mail arriving here was end of track. But very soon there was a post office established on Front Street, which was then the center of the community. But with the establishment of what they call the Revelstoke Station town site, the people in this part of town wanted postal service to be a little bit closer to them as well. And it made sense to have a post office close to the station. So in 1891, a post office was established in Warren Brothers store, and which was on the other side of the tracks. And so for a while there were two Revelstoke post offices. There was the Revelstoke Station post office and the Warren Brothers store. Post office in Farwell. In 1901, the post office merged, and they had one location near where Wolsey Street Restaurant is now. And then they had various other locations. This building wasn't built until 1926, but they'd actually planned for building on this site in 1910. There was still arguments about where the post office should be. They were looking at somewhat of a central location, but there was Prime Minister Laurier was visiting Revelstoke in 1910, and I guess the local politicians thought it would be a good idea if he chose the site to take the heat off of them. So he was given 3 sites to choose from, and had his visit in Revelstoke, went on the train, left town, and when he got a fair ways out of town, he sent a telegraph back saying that this was the site that he had chosen. So he was safely out of town before the decision was made. But it took a long time before construction started. That was 1910, the site was chosen. The house that had been on here, the Dickey House, was moved to another location. And the site was empty for a while. Things were a little slow getting going. And then, of course, World War I intervened. And between 1914 and 1918, during the war, there weren't really a lot of building projects going on. Finally, 1925, they moved forward with the construction, and the building was built in 1926. A lot of the downtown buildings, early buildings, were of local brick, but by the time this one was built, there was no local brickyard, so the bricks were brought in. The main contractor was a man named William Gill from Kamloops, who was a really well-known mason, bricklayer. The building itself is quite beautiful. There's some lovely features, still some original features inside as well. This served as the Revelstoke Post Office until 1971, when the new post office was opened. And there are people in town who bought their mail here before 1971 who can still tell you their box number and show you exactly where it would have been in the building. So before 1974, the city of Revelstoke bought the building from the federal government purposely for the museum. And they had it renovated for the museum to move in July of 1974. The museum had been in a little location in the basement of the old health clinic on Mackenzie Avenue. It's never really a good location. But we've been in here ever since. We love this location, and we've filled the 2 floors with exhibits and have our basement full of storage. There's still some original features inside, some of the marble trims and some original doors. And it's a great place for our museum collection to live.